Listen carefully. An open door can become a disaster when your gift brings you into a room that your habits are not prepared to sustain. Everybody celebrates access. Everybody wants to be noticed, selected, promoted, invited. But being noticed is an event. Being dependable is a lifestyle. The applause may introduce you, but it cannot support you. Excitement may carry you through the first day, but only discipline can carry you through the ordinary days that follow. A larger room does not automatically make you larger. It magnifies what is already within you. Weak preparation becomes visible confusion. Unmanaged emotion becomes unnecessary conflict. Inconsistent habits become broken promises. Compromised character becomes public exposure. The opportunity did not create those weaknesses. It revealed them. So perhaps your greatest problem is not the door that remains closed. Perhaps the real question is whether you have built the person who is ready to enter it. You keep asking, why have they overlooked me? But have you examined your preparation? You keep asking, when will my time come? But what are you doing with the time already in your hands? You keep praying for influence, but can people trust your private decisions? You keep asking for responsibility, but can you manage your present commitments? Opportunity is not merely a reward. Opportunity is weight. It is expectation. It is stewardship. It is service. The higher the position, the greater the number of people affected by what you know, what you neglect, what you control, and what you refuse to confront. Now ask yourself an uncomfortable question. If the position you desire arrived today, what evidence proves that you could carry it well tomorrow? Not what do you feel. Not what have you imagined. Not what have others promised. What evidence exists in your habits, your competence, your emotional stability, and your integrity? Do not be discouraged by that question. Be awakened by it. A weakness discovered in preparation can be strengthened. A weakness hidden by ambition will eventually be exposed by responsibility. Calling identifies the assignment. Capacity carries its weight. Calling tells you that there is something you were created to contribute. Capacity determines whether that contribution becomes dependable service or preventable collapse. Therefore, stop treating access as the greatest victory. Become the person the opportunity will not have to apologize for. And to assess that readiness honestly, you must first stop treating the discovery of purpose as proof of preparation. Purpose discovered is not preparation completed. Calling is the awareness that your life contains a contribution, a direction, an assignment larger than personal comfort. Capacity is the developed ability to perform that assignment, endure its pressure, govern yourself within it, and remain trustworthy while carrying it. Calling answers, what am I meant to contribute? Capacity answers, what have I become able to carry? Never confuse those answers. Vision can show you where you should go, but preparation determines the condition in which you arrive. You may arrive inspired but unskilled. You may arrive talented but unstable. You may arrive passionate but unreliable. The destination does not repair the traveler. Whatever you refuse to develop along the road will meet you when you arrive. Consider a blueprint. A blueprint may reveal a magnificent building, but nobody moves into a drawing. Before that structure can carry people, it needs a foundation, tested materials, measured construction, skilled labor, and careful inspection. The design may be authentic while the building remains unfinished. Your calling is the design. Your life is the construction site. This is why sincere desire is not enough. Conviction is important, but conviction is not competence. Talent is valuable, but talent is not maturity. Enthusiasm can begin the journey, but it cannot complete the structure. You cannot demand recognition merely because you feel chosen. The feeling of assignment gives you responsibility to prepare. It does not give you entitlement to a position. And preparation is not passive waiting. You do not trust God by refusing to develop. You trust God enough to work without controlling the outcome. You study, you practice, you serve. You accept correction. You strengthen what is weak. You manage what is already in your hands. Faith does not remove your participation. Faith gives your participation direction. Now understand the balance. You do not need to become perfect before you begin. Perfection is not the requirement. Development is. Begin where you are, but do not remain as you are. Serve at your present level. Learn from small responsibilities. Let mistakes instruct you while their consequences are still limited. Do not hide your weakness. Refine it. Purpose without preparation produces pressure. The responsibility arrives, but the structure cannot support it. Purpose joined to capacity produces dependable service. The assignment and the person carrying it begin to agree. So, honor the calling, but build the carrier. Protect the vision, but train the vessel. Trust the direction, but develop the discipline required for the journey. Once you separate calling from capacity, you can stop measuring readiness by emotion. You can examine it through 4 concrete dimensions: what you know, what you can do, how you govern yourself, and whether you can be trusted. Now, that distinction gives you a better question. Stop asking only when will my opportunity come. Start asking, what must become stronger in me before greater responsibility comes? The first question places your attention on a future you cannot control. The second places your attention on development you can begin today. Readiness can be examined in 4 dimensions: knowledge, practice skill, emotional governance, and trustworthy character. These are not decorations around your purpose. They are the structure that enables you to carry it. First, knowledge. Do you understand what the assignment requires? Do you know its principles, its language, its standards, its context, and the consequences of careless decisions? Wanting to serve people is not the same as understanding how to serve them well. Good intentions cannot replace informed judgment. Second, practice skill. Can you convert what you know into reliable performance? Can you produce when conditions are ordinary, deadlines are real, and nobody is reminding you? Knowledge may explain the task, but skill completes it. If you understand excellence but cannot reproduce it, your understanding has not yet become capacity. Third, emotional governance. Can you remain aligned with purpose when you are criticized, delayed, tired, disappointed, or provoked? Pressure does not ask permission before revealing you. If every emotion becomes an instruction, your direction will change with every circumstance. Mature people feel deeply, but they choose deliberately. Fourth, trustworthy character. Does your private conduct agree with your public claims? Do you keep your commitments? Do your values remain intact when compromise would be convenient? Character is the agreement between what you say matters and what your repeated choices prove matters. Listen carefully. These 4 dimensions must cooperate. Knowledge without execution remains theory. Skill without emotional control becomes unstable. Ability without integrity becomes dangerous. Character without competence may be sincere, but sincerity alone cannot complete the assignment. So audit yourself by evidence, not by confidence, not by desire, not by compliments, not by the one exceptional day when everything went well. What do your repeated decisions reveal? What does your finished work reveal? What does your response under pressure reveal? What does your conduct without supervision reveal? A structure does not carry weight according to the beauty of its strongest beam. Its limit may be determined by the weakness nobody reinforced. Your capacity works the same way. One neglected dimension can restrict the responsibility the whole person is able to carry. This audit is not condemnation, it is direction. What you can identify, you can develop. What you can measure, you can refine. And the audit begins with knowledge, because passion cannot compensate for refusing to learn what responsible service demands. Knowledge is the first dimension because you cannot responsibly manage what you refuse to understand. Some people believe that being naturally gifted excuses them from study. They think talent gives them permission to ignore correction, preparation, and specialized knowledge. But your gift may help you begin. It does not teach you everything required to finish well. Potential is not omniscience. The moment you decide that your gift makes learning unnecessary, your gift begins to become a liability. Every assignment contains a body of knowledge. There are people you must understand, problems you must define, principles you must respect, standards you must meet, and consequences you must consider. If you want to lead, what do you understand about responsibility? If you want to teach, can you make truth clear? If you want to build, do you understand the needs your work must serve? Desire may point toward the assignment, but knowledge prepares your judgment within it. Do not mistake inspiration for education. Inspiration awakens appetite. Education develops discernment. You can listen to powerful messages every day and still remain unprepared if you never examine, organize, test, and apply what you hear. Owning directions is not the same as understanding the terrain. A person can repeat every instruction and still become lost when conditions change. Borrowed language can make you sound informed, but only personal comprehension enables you to adapt, explain, and decide wisely. So, identify 3 knowledge gaps connected directly to the responsibility you desire. Not 3 random subjects that make you appear interesting. Ask, what must I understand to serve well? Where do I repeatedly become confused? What do competent people know that I have neglected to learn? Then build a learning cycle. Begin with a clear question. Read or listen in search of principles, not merely memorable sentences. Explain what you learned in your own words. Apply it to a small, real task. Examine the result. Accept correction. Then return and learn again. And this requires humility. The person who must always appear knowledgeable cannot ask honest questions. The person who hides confusion cannot receive useful instruction. The person who treats correction as disrespect will protect ignorance and call it confidence. Measure your learning by evidence. Did you complete the study you planned? Can you explain the principle clearly? Are your decisions improving? Are the same misunderstandings repeating? Does feedback from capable people confirm growth? Study with purpose. Ask, listen, test, apply, review. Your knowledge should make your service clearer, wiser, and more responsible. But remember, knowledge makes responsible action possible. It does not prove that you can act. Understanding the work is necessary. The next question is more demanding. Can you execute what you understand repeatedly? Knowing what excellence looks like is not the same as being able to produce it when excellence is required. You can recognize a powerful speech and still be unable to communicate clearly. You can admire effective leadership and still fail to organize a simple assignment. You can explain discipline and still miss every deadline. Knowledge gives you a standard to pursue. Skill gives you the trained ability to meet that standard. Skill is behavior refined through practice until it becomes increasingly reliable. It grows in quality, it improves in efficiency, it gains judgment, it becomes consistent. A gift may give you an unusual beginning, but repetition, correction, and refinement make that gift dependable enough to serve other people. Consider a craftsperson presenting a finished work. You see the polished result, but you do not see the failed attempts, the uneven measurements, the discarded pieces, the corrected movements, and the long hours when improvements seemed almost invisible. Admiration cannot transfer that mastery to you. You must submit your own ability to the process. Stop waiting for a prestigious setting before you begin practicing. The small room is a classroom. The ordinary assignment is an examination. The present responsibility is training material. If you refuse to prepare without an audience, you are not pursuing mastery, you are pursuing attention. Choose one ability essential to your purpose. Define what competent performance looks like. Practice it on a schedule. Ask for specific feedback. Do not ask merely, was it good? Ask, where was it unclear? What failed? What should I repeat? What must I correct? Then improve one weakness and perform the task again. That is the practice loop. Define, perform, review, correct, repeat. But be careful. Activity is not always development. Repeating an error without examination only makes the error familiar. Practice becomes fruitful when correction enters the process. Honest feedback may be uncomfortable, but discomfort is cheaper than public incompetence. And this is where discipline protects your gift. Motivation will visit, and motivation will leave. Your schedule must remain. Practice when you feel inspired. Practice when the day feels ordinary. Practice when nobody praises the improvement. Consistency carries purpose through the days emotion would abandon it. Measure what is changing. How often did you practice? What did you finish? Which errors decreased? Is the feedback becoming stronger? Do you recover faster after mistakes? Can people rely on you to deliver the work by the agreed time? Small assignments answer large questions. They reveal how you prepare, communicate, follow through, adjust, and improve. Do not despise them. Use them. Talent may attract attention, but trained competence earns trust. Yet even competence becomes unreliable when pressure takes command of the person performing it. Capacity must not only train the hands and sharpen the mind, it must also govern emotion. Skill trains what you do. Emotional governance trains who is in command while you do it. Emotional maturity does not mean pretending you feel nothing. It does not mean silencing grief, denying frustration, or performing strength. It means your feelings are allowed to speak without being permitted to rule. Emotion is information, but it must not become your authority. Greater responsibility increases pressure. More people may disagree with you. Plans may change without your permission. Your work may be misunderstood. Fatigue may weaken your patience. Results may arrive later than expected, and some outcomes will remain beyond your control, regardless of how faithfully you prepare. This is where capacity is tested. Reaction gives the moment authority. Response keeps purpose in authority. Reaction says, I feel it, therefore I must act on it. Response says, I feel it, but I will choose conduct that agrees with my values. So examine yourself. Does criticism stop your productive effort? Does delay make you desperate enough to force what should not be forced? Does frustration cause you to damage the relationships your assignment requires? Does uncertainty paralyze you or push you into impulsive decisions simply because waiting feels uncomfortable? You cannot control every outcome, every opinion, every delay, or every closed door, but you can govern your preparation. You can direct your attention. You can protect your integrity. You can regulate your effort. You can choose your response. Wisdom begins when you distinguish what belongs in your hands from what does not. When pressure rises, practice this discipline. Pause before answering. Name the emotion honestly. Identify the value that must govern the moment. Choose the next responsible action. Then review your response later. Ask what triggered you, what helped you remain stable, and what must change before the pressure returns. That is not weakness. That is training. Emotional stamina grows in ordinary moments. When you continue after praise disappears, when you remain faithful without immediate reward, when you receive correction without collapsing, and when disappointment does not cancel your discipline. Some reactions are intensified by unresolved history or the need to prove your worth. If an old injury still directs present decisions, confront it honestly. Reflect. Forgive where forgiveness is needed. Establish healthy boundaries. Seek wise support when the burden exceeds what you can process alone. Your past may explain a reaction, but it does not have to command your future. Measure growth by evidence. Quicker recovery, fewer impulsive choices, calmer communication, sustained commitments, and the ability to hear correction without surrendering your identity. Govern your inner environment. A person ruled by every internal storm will struggle to steward a larger external responsibility. Emotional steadiness helps you carry pressure, but character answers an even deeper question. Are other people safe placing trust in you? Character answers that question, because character is who you repeatedly choose to be when applause, supervision, and immediate consequences are absent. Image manages appearance. Integrity governs alignment. Image asks, what will people think if they see this? Integrity asks, is this consistent with what I claim to value, even if nobody ever knows? One protects reputation. The other protects the person beneath it. Responsibility is ultimately an act of trust. When people place an assignment in your hands, they are trusting more than your talent. They are trusting your word, your judgment, your boundaries, your stewardship, and your willingness to act responsibly when convenience offers another option. So audit the ordinary evidence. Do you keep the commitments that no longer excite you? Do you tell the truth when honesty costs you comfort? Do you manage time and resources as though they matter? Can you admit a mistake without building an excuse around it? Do you respect people who cannot advance your ambition? Do you complete necessary work that nobody celebrates? Character is revealed in these places. Small compromises train you just as surely as small disciplines do. Every repeated exception teaches you what you are willing to become. The first excuse may feel temporary. The 10th begins to look like a pattern. Eventually, the pattern becomes a private identity, and private identity will seek expression when responsibility increases. This is why correction is protection. The person who receives correction can repair a weakness before that weakness becomes a public failure. But the person who treats every correction as humiliation will defend the very habit that threatens the assignment. Teachability is not insecurity. It is strength under instruction. And do not ask to lead others while refusing to manage yourself. Authority cannot organize your private disorder. A title cannot purify your motives. A position cannot discipline your reactions. Leadership begins before anyone follows you. It begins when you govern the life already placed in your hands. Build trust deliberately. Make fewer careless promises. Record the commitments you accept. Communicate early when circumstances change. Admit failure without delay. Repair harm promptly. Then repeat dependable conduct until credibility becomes observable. Do this whether recognition arrives soon, late, or in a form you did not expect. Character is not a performance designed to earn promotion. It is preparation for service. You do not become honest because a door might open. You become honest because purpose must never require you to betray your values in order to carry it. Ability may make you impressive. Character makes you entrustable. Skill may persuade people to watch you, but integrity helps them remain safe while you serve them. And these qualities are not built most safely under the weight of a large platform. They are tested, corrected, and strengthened where the stakes are smaller, the visibility is limited, and there is still room to grow before weakness becomes costly. That smaller place may be more valuable than you think. It can be frustrating to work faithfully without applause, rapid advancement, or visible change. You study, but nobody asks what you know. You improve, but nobody announces your progress. You serve, but the assignment still appears insignificant. And because people often measure growth by recognition, they assume that nothing important is happening when nothing public is happening. But a tree does not begin by displaying branches. It begins by developing roots. The roots receive no applause because they cannot be seen, yet they must become strong enough to support everything that will be seen. Visibility celebrates the branch. Responsibility depends upon the root. Your low visibility season can become a protected workshop. In a smaller assignment, an error may inconvenience a few people and teach you an unforgettable lesson. In a larger assignment, the same error may injure many. Limited consequences can be mercy. They reveal what ambition hides: gaps in knowledge, weak systems, emotional triggers, careless communication, and compromises that must be corrected. But obscurity is not automatically preparation. Hiding is not training. Waiting is useful only when you are studying, practicing, serving, reflecting, and improving. A quiet season can form you, or it can become an excuse. The difference is disciplined participation. Volunteer for responsibility appropriate to your present ability. Finish the task you have neglected. Solve the problem near you. Prepare before you are reminded. Communicate when plans change. Treat today's commitment as training, not as an insult to tomorrow's calling. Ordinary repetition tells the truth that aspiration conceals. Do you arrive prepared? Do you follow through? Can you endure after excitement fades? Are you teachable when someone corrects your work? These patterns become visible over time. Ask people who observe you closely for honest feedback. What should you continue? What must you correct? What should you stop? Do not collect praise when you need instruction. A flattering answer may protect your feelings, but a truthful answer can protect your future. And do not force a door because waiting has made you anxious. Do not abandon your values to gain access. Do not confuse speed with alignment. A fast opportunity can still take you in the wrong direction. Preparation and surrender must work together. Manage the training that belongs in your hands. Release the timetable that does not. Keep learning. Keep serving. Keep correcting. Let recognition take whatever honest form and timing it takes. Hidden practice is not empty waiting when it is producing stronger evidence of readiness. And if that preparation is real, it should leave evidence. Readiness must now be measured by a personal capacity scoreboard. Many people live by a promotion clock. They measure their lives by dates, comparisons, recognition, and doors that remain closed. I thought I would be further by now. Why did that person advance before me? When will somebody notice what I can do? That clock produces anxiety because it measures what you cannot command. You cannot control another person's timeline. You cannot manufacture genuine trust. You cannot determine the exact day an opportunity will appear, but you can measure whether you are becoming more prepared. Replace the promotion clock with a capacity scoreboard. For knowledge, track focus study. What did you learn? Can you retain it, explain it clearly, and apply it to a real decision? Is your judgment becoming sounder, or are you merely collecting information? For skill, track scheduled, practice, and completed work. What did you produce? What feedback did you receive? Which error did you correct? Can you maintain quality under a deadline? Can you perform consistently across ordinary weeks, not merely on exceptional days? For emotional governance, track the moments when you pause before reacting. How quickly did you recover from disappointment? Did you handle the difficult conversation wisely? Did you keep your commitment when pressure challenged your feelings? For character, track promises honored, responsibilities completed, mistakes admitted, resources managed, boundaries respected, and repairs made when your conduct damaged trust. Character must become visible in patterns, not slogans. Create a weekly rhythm. Choose one weakness in each dimension. Connect it to one observable behavior. Review the evidence honestly. Then make one concrete adjustment for the next week. Do not attempt to repair your whole life in one emotional evening. Build capacity through repeated, deliberate correction. And understand the purpose of the scoreboard. It is not condemnation. It is not competition. It is not a bargain designed to force God to grant you a position. It is stewardship. It helps you see whether your daily behavior agrees with the responsibility you claim to desire. Do not confuse motion with progress. A crowded schedule can conceal stagnation. If you remain busy while repeating the same errors, defending the same excuses, and leaving the same commitments unfinished, you are moving without developing. Invite a trusted, mature person to examine the evidence with you. Give that person permission to challenge blind spots. You need someone who can distinguish your intention from your actual conduct. Then ask 4 questions. Do I understand the work? Can I perform it consistently? Can I remain governed under pressure? Can I be trusted when no one is watching? Stronger answers will not give you control over when or how a door opens, but they will ensure that your waiting is producing something valuable. The objective is not to appear ready. It is to become increasingly useful, stable, correctable, and trustworthy. Now the audit must become a commission, because a scoreboard changes nothing until its findings alter your daily behavior. Now bring the entire message into one decision. Calling is not capacity. Desire is not discipline. Information is not skill. Emotion is not authority. Visibility is not readiness. Each pair may appear close, but confusing them can turn potential into pressure and opportunity into exposure. If this audit revealed a gap, do not surrender to guilt. Discovery is not defeat. A weakness identified while the stakes are limited is an invitation to grow before the consequences become heavier. You have not failed because you found something undeveloped. You have been given the opportunity to develop it deliberately. So stop demanding a position and start building competence. Stop protecting excuses and start receiving correction. Stop chasing applause and start producing evidence. Stop forcing the timetable and start governing today. Choose one knowledge gap you will study. Choose one skill you will practice. Choose one emotional reaction you will govern. Choose one character commitment you will honor. Do not choose 10 things so you can abandon all of them. Choose clearly. Begin immediately. Repeat faithfully. Write a 30-day development covenant. Build it around behaviors, not fantasies. State what you will study, when you will practice, how you will pause under pressure, and which promise you will keep. Review it each week. Record the evidence. Correct what is failing. Continue what is working. Do not use those 30 days to compete with another person's journey or demand a guaranteed outcome. Development is your responsibility. Recognition is not under your command. And do not despise what is already in your hands. Your present responsibilities are not interruptions to purpose. They are the nearest available material from which competence, faithfulness, endurance, and trust can be built. The assignment you call small may be teaching you how to carry the one you call significant. We began with a door, but now you understand that the greatest objective is not merely for a door to open. The objective is for preparation to be ready when opportunity calls. Let your knowledge answer. Let your skill answer. Let your emotional stability answer. Let your character answer. Keep learning. Keep practicing. Keep governing yourself. Keep your word. Keep serving well. You cannot command the shape or timing of every opportunity, but you can refuse to waste the season in which capacity is formed. The greatest achievement is not obtaining a position. It is becoming the person capable of carrying purpose as dependable service. When opportunity finally meets you, let it meet prepared habits, proven competence, governed emotions, and trustworthy character. Let it meet someone whose calling is no longer only announced by desire, but sustained by capacity.